Welcome to the Comics Coffee Metal Podcast, episode 167.
Greetings and welcome to the Comics Coffee Metal Podcast. Today I am joined by some fantastic returning guests who I think were last on probably just before we made our pivot to doing mostly video now and all that. So I'm super stoked to have them back on because one, they had a really killer comic out. They've had a lot of success with that, but now they're back with a full ass graphic novel, which Kickstarter right now is funded at the moment. So fingers crossed, there's gonna be some sweet stretch goals and just keeps going up and up and up and up. But yeah, today I'm joined by fantastic creators and Grimm Core Studios heads, owners, runners, Rafael Flores Jr. and Grimm. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us, man. Appreciate it.
I'm
Greetings. Yeah, I'm not doing all that shit. Hi, I'm Grimm. So nice to be here. Huge fan of the show. Nothing better than coffee, comics, and metal. You know, that's what keeps us going, and we're just so happy to be here. Thank you for having us again.
Well, I love seeing the work you guys do. Love our little chats we get with the Instagram and stuff like that. So good people. Love to have you on. Love to spread the word of the return of Camazotz, your Chicano Gothic horror graphic novel. As I said, it's still live on Kickstarter right now. Hopefully, by the time this airs, it'll be twice the amount it is now, and you guys will just be, sweating bullets toward the end of the campaign.
Right.
Thinking about how you're going to fulfill all those orders in a
Yes.
timely manner. But first things first, the rule of the show, gentlemen. I got to ask, Comics Coffee Metal, what have you guys been digging lately? We can start with Grimm.
All right. So as far as coffee goes, what's that the order? Coffee, comics, metal? Is there an order?
Any order you want to go.
Okay,
as in
there
depth
you
as
go.
you want to go.
Yeah, great. It's a free country, or whatever. Let's see. I'm a big guy. I'm big into Cafe Bustelo. I drink a lot of Cafe Bustelo. Drink a whole pot of that every day, which is probably not good for my heart. But then again, you only live once, and I'm here for a good time, not a long time. As far as metal, I am a huge new metal fan. Unapologetically, I love new metal. New metal is awesome. I do this thing like almost all the time just because in front of the mirror. I've been listening to the El Nino discography.
Okay.
And if you haven't heard about El Nino, it's a great band. They've been active since I think 2000, and they are an all Latino band, I think from New York. And they basically make new metal. They've been active for a long time, and they make some wonderful, like a fusion between new metal and with some Latino sounds. Like you get a little bit of Sepultura there, It's great. Probably the best album is their first one, Revolution. But Confessions is a pretty good follow up. In general, pretty good band. So I've been listening to a lot of that. And as far as comics, I'm always reading stuff, but I just finished Dorohedoro last month, and it's an incredible manga by Hayashida Q, I think. And, great horror visuals, great psychedelic stuff. Like, I don't know fully how to explain it. There's an anime on Netflix. Really good stuff. It's about, like, magic and demons and, like, a guy with a lizard head. And that sounds very random. And that's because the manga is very random and very awesome. And right now I'm reading Fist of the North Star, which is just incredible. Like if your only exposure to it has been the anime movie, there's so much great stuff in that manga, and the art is just gorgeous. Like you, especially as an artist, I think that you would really, really enjoy reading that manga because it's just absolutely drop dead gorgeous art. Been reading Absolute Batman to my great dismay because I'm a Marvel and DC hater, and Absolute Batman just pulled me in. I
mean,
can't
I hear
stop reading
nothing
it.
but like amazing things about the whole Absolute line. Actually, I just keep
Yeah.
hearing like so many great things, and I can't argue. Like, I'm not anti anything really. I'm not huge into Marvel and DC anymore, but I was when I was younger, or even a decade ago. Um, but like just hearing everything I hear about Absolute Batman, or I see about Absolute Batman, I'm just like, I really need to read this. I need to go check this out because it's just it feels like to me it gives me this vibe of like back in the mid 90s when I was in my younger comic collecting heyday. Like Age of Apocalypse came out. That was
Mm.
it. That was like our big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there was such a weird, like, oh my god, I can't believe they're doing this vibe. Like, we didn't
Yeah.
know. Like, I was just naive enough to think like, oh my god, are they ending the X titles? Like, no, they're not. They're coming back. But like, just like it was such a weird, but it was like such a weird, like dangerous shift. It felt like such like a risky thing, and Absolute Batman kind of gives me that same kind of vibe where it's just like such a different, weird, risky take, but like it just seems like so one like really well done, but also like just fucking cool. Like it's just
It's
cool.
so
Like
fucking cool.
Yeah, it
so,
looks cool. The
I
Absolute Wonder Woman looks pretty cool. Like I want to check that one out. I've seen the Absolute Universe, but I haven't read them yet either. So
yeah.
they just
I
look
yeah,
pretty cool.
I have to get on. I have to get on that. I'm overdue a trip to the comic shop to just pick up something, for sure, for sure. So, and Fist of the North Star, like that's I don't read much manga. There's a growing list of stuff that I keep getting recommended, and Fist of the North Star is always on my list because I grew up. I was born in '82, so I grew up with like that kind of stuff showing up late at night on cable when I should be asleep. The dubs of that playing on the old Sci-Fi Network, or even on like some of the uh, uh, other cable channels, and then the absolute dog shit HBO original Fist of the North Star movie, which I still have like a weird fondness for, just because it was like so random that they did that. I think, like, why would you pick that out of all things to do like a low budget B action movie on? But why not? It's
Yeah.
kind of one of those things. Uh, but that and like the Guyver and stuff like that, those are things that are just like etched in my brain from my youth that I need to like get back to and like enjoy the source material a bit more on. So awesome. And new metal, I am not a new metal hater at all. Like again, new metal was the new metal of my day. Like that was when I was a teenager, all that stuff came out, and though I kind of had some of a aversion to a lot of it, just because it was more associated with who I knew who listened to it.
Right.
As I've gotten older, like I've grown more to my appreciation of it and stuff like that, and especially stuff like Il Nino, and like even going back and like developing a new appreciation for like Limp Bizkit and stuff, and they're getting their due, and rest in peace, their bassist Sam. Terrible news on that, but like just seeing that kind of like become a revival thing with all this stuff, and it's really funny now too, because seeing like Linkin Park, like how much people love Linkin Park. And I just remember people were just like sick and tired of Linkin Park when they were out, like when all that Meteora and all that stuff was new. Yeah, there was fans. Yeah, there was on the radio, but I just remember people were just like doing nothing but complaining about that. But then again, I all these younger people who are like, no, this is the best band ever, and all that. So it's just interesting to see, like, to be old enough now to see the cycle of things come back around,
Mm-hmm.
and all that. So yeah. But that's Il Nino is a band I definitely enjoyed before, but I should go back and check out their discography a bit more. I've really been enjoying the latest Soulfly album. That's been
Oh
really good.
yeah.
That and the new Avatar album just came out. That's really good as well. Um, there's been a ton of great metal this year, you know. And because it's my podcast and I haven't mentioned them yet, and I seem to be doing it every single episode. My album of the year is still Orbit Culture's latest album. they are just like my favorite band. You know, my current like favorite band, not all time, but like favorite band right now. They're just killing it, killing it.
Nice. I'll
How
have to
how
check
about
it
you?
out.
Yeah, they're just intense stuff, intense stuff. How about you, Rafael? What have you been digging lately?
As far as metal, I'm gonna have to get some of your recommendations because I'm really not been listening to much other than what's on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Like Disturbed or System of a Down. I'm really
Mm-hmm.
into like I guess glam rock and like Def Leppard
Hey,
and that kind of stuff.
nothing wrong with
Um,
that.
just what I grew up. That's what my mama watched and listened to.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of been listening to a lot of that stuff. Just I don't know, listening to what my mom listened to when I was young. It's like comfort food.
No,
Um,
no, totally,
a lot
totally.
of Mexican, old country music too.
Mm-hmm.
So just that kind of stuff. As far as coffee, it's cool that you mentioned that, Daniel, or Grim, because Cafe Bustelo, is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bustelo.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't had that before until recently. One of my
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're
coworkers,
kidding.
yeah, one of my coworkers hooked me up on that. Just like on the instant coffee, like
Yeah.
little, instant little package. And I
Yeah.
was like, man, this is actually pretty good. Like I got to try out I got to get a 10 can of it,
Mm-hmm.
because it was really good. I was really enjoying it. So I'm going to definitely get one of those in the future. That's what
Yeah.
I've been enjoying.
Yeah. I it just maybe my sensitivities, but like of the times I've tried it, like I'm like you got to be careful with how strong you make it,
Oh yeah, for
because
sure.
it could be for me, it could become rocket fuel, and it's like hold on a second, let's pull this back a little bit with
Yeah.
all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, Cafe Bustelo definitely underrated coffee brand these days
Yeah.
for
So my
sure.
coworker hooked me up on that. And it was really good. And
Nice.
then reading, I've been reading a lot recently. So lately I've been, just wanted to shout out a few things. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King. I've
Okay.
checked out the graphic novel of that. I really dig that story. I think that's going to be somewhat what they use for the movie
Yeah.
coming out.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to read that story. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the hugest Tom King fan,
Mm-hmm.
but some of his stuff is really good. And this was one of those things where when I was getting started reading it, I was like, I don't know, this feels like a Tom King book. It's really wordy. But then as I kept reading it and I learned about these alien cultures and like why I guess they all have a different speech, type of way of
Mm-hmm.
speaking. And so it does feel a little alien. And so it's really cool. I was really enjoying the side character that they had there and Supergirl's personality in that book because I hadn't really read many Supergirl stories other than what she appeared in, like Batman and Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a really cool story. I'd really recommend it. Other than that, I've been reading Luana Vachejo. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, but she does Lovesick and Doll Parts for Image Comics. It's about this dominatrix murderer and like serial killer, and then she like makes snuff films. That's what Lovesick is about, and then Doll Parts is like the origin story of her character. It's really cool. It's got like this cutesy goth girl artsy vibe. I really love it. That's kind of like stuff I'm like really digging. At least that art wise, I love that. Really cool stuff. And then there's another one. What's it called? Man, ah, I can't remember the name of it. It's kind of like Suspiria, but it's not. It's like something
Okay.
else. And it was by Becky Cloonan and this other painter artist. It's about
Oh,
this witch and like during the witch trials. Um, and it was a
God,
really
why
beautiful
is it?
graphic novel.
Yeah.
Um, if you can look it up, Becky Cloonan latest graphic
Yeah.
novel. It's really good. It's about this woman in the witch during the witch trials, and like her whole coming to like I guess the devil or whatever. And it was a really cool book. I really digged it. Another great horror type of book. So I've been really loving the horror stuff coming out. So that's what I've been reading.
Nice. Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, it could just stand like as just anything Becky Cloonan is. Go check it out.
Yeah, really good.
It's usually awesome in some sort of manner. Um, but yeah, that's a lot of great stuff right there. I've heard so many great things about that Supergirl book, and I haven't read a lot
It's
of
called
Tom King.
Somna. Somna. That's
Oh,
what it's called.
Samna. Okay,
Yeah.
Samna. There you go,
There you go.
A
Samna. Go check
bedtime
that one
story.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the Tom King stuff, like I can't recall reading much of it, but I think whatever I've read of his, I have liked.
Mm.
You know, I think I'm removed far enough from, you know, monthly grind reading comics and stuff like that, where
Yeah.
like I'm not so much like, oh man, I don't like this creator, and like it's like I forget too much. It's
Yeah.
like, wait,
Sure.
Right.
did I like what they wrote before? Let me check this out, you know. And because there's been some stuff I've been reading, because I do have the Marvel app, um, and there's been stuff like I've read that I've been meaning to read on, and then like the person I realized, you know, the writer or the artist behind it, or people who previously I didn't care for what they did, but like I didn't like bring that into the book because I didn't remember,
Mhm.
and I ended up enjoying it. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, maybe personal biases do affect more than I
Yeah.
think they do
It was
affect,
because
you
I
know.
was reading. He was writing Batman for so long, and I
Yeah,
was into
yeah. I
Batman at
mean,
that time. Giving the monthlies. I
I,
think
I
it
can't
was
fault
twice
anybody
monthly.
for
I
that, for
think it was
sure.
like
Yeah,
twice a month at that point.
yeah,
It was during that time where it was
yeah.
like I can't afford this anymore.
Yeah, I can't fault anybody for like, I'm kind of sick of this creator, because I know I've been there with certain creators,
Yeah.
and it's not necessarily a knock on them. It's just like, you know, as good as you are, your voice is your voice as a
Yeah.
creator. So it's like eventually you
Right.
just be like, I've heard you enough. I need a break, you
Yeah.
know.
And no,
But
no,
you can do that
no.
for all things, for all
And I
music.
love Tom King. He's actually really cool in
Yeah,
person. I met him a couple
yeah.
times. Got his autograph. He's a really cool dude too.
Yeah. Uh, what was it? Him and who was the other Tom? Tom Taylor. I've heard nothing but
Yeah.
like them being
Oh
like
yeah.
the nicest people on top of everything.
I
So
love his work too.
glad that tracks. Um, but you know, on top of nice, awesome creators with a voice, Rafael, you have
Hey.
the Return of Kamazotz. You know, originally you guys came out. We talked about the first issue. I really enjoyed it. The art by Azrael. Well, I'm sorry, I forgot his last name. Azrael
Maxim now.
Maxim.
Yeah.
Um, just amazing. You know, kind of like I think Mignola-esque is kind of
Mhm.
a best way to describe it, but it's got a bit more.
Influences. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like it's, how can I, because I was looking at over everything again, because I'm like, I just don't want to say it's Mignola-esque again, but it's also like it's got some of that Guy Davis in
Mhm.
there. It's got some of that even almost like some like Adam Hughes almost. I
Mhm.
want to say just kind of
I've
like some
heard all
slickness.
types honestly, and
You
I
know, it's
think
like it's just,
he's just a student
I
of the
mean,
game.
it's
I think you know.
it looks unique, and but it has that you know feeling that all artists do when, you know, we're all
Mhm.
the sum of our influences. You know, so if people who are familiar with a certain style can kind of pick something out, certainly, and you know, banding those three creators together as, oh, I kind of see that in that art. That's certainly not an insult.
Right. I
When you
know.
had three
No.
like masters, like,
No,
yeah, you
for
look like
real.
three
Right.
masters who heavily influenced your work, you know.
Hmm.
But no, just fantastic stuff. You know, deep heavy blacks. I'm a sucker for that stuff as well. Just let the shadows do the talking and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And but you know, before I continue to describe things badly, let everybody know, what is the Return of Kamazotz.
So, The Return of Kamazotz is a gothic Mayan horror story. It's a graphic novel that's currently on Kickstarter. It's a story that I've been telling in three parts. It's about these twin brothers, Victor and Vincent, who go to Mexico to honor their deceased mother who passed away through tragic means. Along their encounter in Mexico, they go to a Mayan ball court. They cause some ruckus or some noise, and this awakens the bat god of death, Kamazotz, and it attacks them this terrible night, leaving one brother cursed to become the next reincarnation of Kamazotz. And it's a gothic tale with Chicano Latino characters, something that I've always wanted to see in books and movies,
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
Mayan mythology interwoven into the story. It takes the Mayan mythology, and I try to honor it, you know, as best and as beautifully as I could, because it's a really cool mythology. But I wanted to take it and really run with it and kind of like just continue the mythology and keep it going and reinventing it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and we may have touched on this last time, but like, you know, the idea of taking like Mayan or Aztec mythology, you know, and giving it kind of the Norse god treatment that Marvel and
You're
DC
right.
kind of seem to, or in the Greek god treatment that they seem to lean into so much. Like you're leaving so much on the table. Granted, they've touched on a few things here and there, but it's like there's so much depth there that y'all are just leaving behind. But it's kind of insane. So I'm really I'm really glad to see someone be like, well, fuck, I'm gonna do it myself. And just
it just seemed
stuff.
like why not do it yourself? Do it before someone else does it. You know what I mean? Do it before someone does it terribly. You know what I mean? Because it seemed like
exactly. And if someone else does it, great, more the merrier, right? You know, there's certainly more than one Thor running around.
For sure. And it's cool to be able to bring more consciousness and awareness to Kamazotz and Mayan mythology and stuff like that. So or even the fact that Latinos can be gothic and like horror and stuff like that. So that's something that was a big part of me even making the book to begin with.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that because I didn't realize until fairly lately that like a lot of people didn't realize that a lot of Latinos are into like gothic horror stuff. It's like no, like that's like huge. That's how Morrissey has a career, guys.
Exactly.
Well, like your parents bringing home a Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street VHS and you watching it either hiding or with them as a little kid in a Latino household, I feel like it's a core universal Latino experience. Like at some point as a kid, you watched a horror movie you were not supposed to watch, and now you wear a lot of black as a grown up.
I mean, personally, my Mexican dad, slipped the cable guy $50, and then we had all the channels.
There you go.
And then a lot throw in some non some sneaking down while the parents are sleeping to turn on the TV in the middle of the night, and there you go. Plenty of things that I should not have seen when I was younger. Some I remember fondly for the best. Some I probably should have listened to my parents, but
it was always the gore for me, man. That was like the most shocking.
Oh yeah,
like,
I'm a gore hound.
The Fly. I remember watching that as a very young, like maybe 6. And my mom was like, "We're watching it." Like Jeff Goldblum.
My son's 6. I'm sure if he saw that, I would probably traumatize him. He's a much sweeter young man than I ever was. But no, yeah, I'm a gore hound, and that's kind of like the big. It's like a big difference between me and my wife in terms of like the types of horror we like, because she likes very supernatural, kind of possession type stuff, and I like give me the splatter, give me and I don't know if either one of you watched that movie Weapons recently.
Not yet. No,
I haven't yet. No.
About that one. Okay. That's
maybe by the time this comes out, I will. But
that movie, that movie, it kind of had it for both of us. It kind of had enough of both for both of us, I think, that we both enjoyed. But I was always about like the cool effects, the weird,
effects, the practical effects. Just wondering how it was made.
Like the basket case movies and like the just the weird monsters and the Critters movies, all that kind of stuff. All those slashers with like, oh look, how they do that decapitation, or like that was a cool kill, and all that stuff. So and that's definitely where I lead into, and it's I can tell it's definitely affected my creative output, because if I get a chance to do something that's kind of gory or kind of ridiculous, I'm like, yes, let's do this.
100% agree.
I even have to stop and ask myself, I have to pull it back sometimes where I'm just like, no, I don't want to be like too much. I want to be appeasing to most people, not just idiots like me.
Fair.
So finding that balance and all that. So it's been a while since we've talked about the origins of the story and all that. So I think we can kind of go over it again. Where did the gem of the idea for Kamazotz, come into play for you? Where you're like, I gotta, tell the story of the twins. Where like when all of that stuff kind of coalesced for you?
It was kind of bubbling even before Danny Grimm reached out to me to
Mm-hmm.
make the Return of Camazotz. I did the short comic, The Return of Camazotz. I entered that into a contest,
Mm-hmm.
a negative space contest, and I was trying to develop like my own brand or identity
Mm-hmm.
at that time. And I knew that was whenever I stumbled upon Camazotz, and I was like, I can call it Camazotz Comics. That'll be my brand.
Yeah.
And I did the 2-page short, and it was kind of like a statement. And then I entered that into a contest. I got publicity, and Graham reached out to me. He was like, "Hey, like you really should focus on this Kamazotz thing." And I was kind of like, I didn't know what I was going to do at that point. I was like, I had a bunch of different ideas. I was probably going to end up doing some kind of like anthology, maybe,
Okay.
something small, something like
Yeah.
maybe like a couple short comics and put them together in a
Mm-hmm.
book, like a floppy. Um, but he told me, no, do something with Kamazotz and tell a story with that. And so I kind of took some of the other ideas that I was working on and kind of like, I was like, I can add all this stuff. And then, oh, here's American Werewolf in London. Let me add that, a little bit of that in there. The Mayan and the Mayan hero twins, they're like basically like I can copy them for like the the Friends and the American Werewolf.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was kind of like, I could see, because I was studying the mythology, like I was like kind of like understanding how the Mayan hero twins, they had this encounter with Kamazotz in the Mayan text, where Kamazotz comes and takes the head off of one of them. And I just took that core story, and I was like, this could be a horror story. This could be like a gothic, a man gets bitten and now he's going to become the next, Kamazotz. And so that's where it all came from. It wouldn't have happened without Daniel really pushing me to get the book made, and really helping me focus the ideas. All because I had so many ideas. I was still a young writer, still trying to figure out what to do. He helped me focus and really tell a really good, complete story, and that's what came to Return of Kamazotz. And
Nice.
yeah.
How did Azrael, how did you get in contact with them, and like when did they come into the picture, and did their style and work, like did that influence the story as you were writing it, or is it more you had the script ready and then they came along and
well, we always knew Azrael would be the artist just from the short comic that we did. We could just feel the chemistry there. We could see through his art style, like this was going to be a cool gothic horror story. So immediately we knew Azrael would be there. We asked him. He wanted to be the colorist as well. So yeah, he got to do that, and it's been a very cool collaborative, a partnership between all of us, and yeah, it's been really cool. When did he get? So what was your question? My bad.
No, I was just wondering, did Azrael's like work, like how did he have any influence in the story as it was being written? Or
not really, because I just wrote the script, but I wrote it for Azrael. So if that makes sense, like I knew what he could do.
No.
I knew what type of art style he was good at, and also I knew something that I wanted to write something that I knew he could really sink his teeth into, that would really be able to shine his artwork and show it, and also challenge him a little bit and make him do things that are a little bit outside of his comfort zone. But I know that he can do it, and I know it'll push him and make him a better artist. So
Awesome. Yeah. Daniel Grimm, a lot has been said about your pushing Rafael to focus on this and all that, and you founded Grimm Core, and Rafael, you since become a partner in that. So if people who have, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going off my throat right now. We were just talking before recording, like, oh, I think we're gonna get sick. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to drop for me. Like, is it happening literally like right now? So, it's been a long. I've been up for a long time today, so it's probably just my throat's just like we're done, but no, we're not. So Grimm Core Studios, like, what Return of Camazotz is coming out from under that banner, but I know there's more cooking, there's more stuff coming out, there's more stuff happening there. Grimm, if you want to chat about like this, the origins of Grimm Core, like why when did this start? Why? What was the impetus for you to start this?
Sure. Uh, just for anybody listening at home, I'm Daniel Grimm. You've heard people sort of like go, Dan. Oh no, Grimm. It's okay. I'm Daniel Grimm. I mostly go by Grimm, but you know, I'm not mad at you for calling me Daniel. That is my name. Um, Grimcore Studio started because honestly, I wanted to give up. I had been working in comics for a long time as an editor, and I loved it. I got to work on a lot of incredible books, uh, but it also became very stressful, and I also was going through a lot of stuff in my personal life. Uh, and so at one
Mhm.
point, I just said, okay, I need to give myself a reason to get out of bed in the morning, and that reason became Grimcore
Mhm.
Studios. So I started Grimcore Studios as sort of a project to give myself some meaning at a time in my life in which I didn't have much of it. And I just sank my teeth into it and made it basically the center of my life for a long time. Uh, Now I'm grateful that I have a lot more things that give me meaning and that allow me to uh, get out of bed in the morning happily and joyfully and all that cool stuff. But it all basically started with me going, I want to make comics the way that I love making comics. I want to publish the kind of comics that I want to read. I want to work with a bunch of cool people. Uh, I want to be in charge of the things that I'm putting out. So I decided to start Grimcore Studios early in 2023. And going through that journey, I already knew Rafael through social media, and I saw that he had this short comic called "The Return of Camazotz" that was a two-pager. And as I was already thinking about starting my own publisher, I was like, "Man, you know what? This is pretty cool." And I see the potential. You know how you see a page or an excuse me or an image or something, and you're like, "This is more than what I am seeing right now. Like this can be so much more." Like this is just
Yeah, yeah,
scratching the
yeah.
surface. That's what that two
Mhm.
pager was for me. And I saw that two pager and I saw
Mhm.
a massive hit just waiting to happen. Uh, and we're not rich and famous off of it yet, but Blade Runner didn't wasn't a smash hit in theaters when it came out, and decades later, it's an extremely celebrated movie. So as long as we're funding Kickstarters and people like the book, then I'm happy. We're happy. But yeah, it just started off with that. I was just so impressed by the comic and so impressed by the artwork and the idea of bringing Camazotz, which is this Mesoamerican deity, into sort of a modern day horror story. That was just so fascinating to me, and I just wanted to be the editor to make that book happen. I wanted to be the publisher to make that book happen, because that's my privilege as a publisher. I get to see a book go
Yeah.
from being an idea to a script to artwork to a published book out in the world, and I get to go out and be like, look at the cool shit that the people that work with me do. Like that's what I do every day. It's like, look at the cool shit Raphael made. He's so smart, he's so talented. uh and
Yeah.
like I do that with all my guys. Actually, it's really funny you were mentioning sort of a segue. I'm sorry, I'm a terrible podcast guest. But it's sort of a segue, but
I'm
you
a terrible
actually,
podcaster, so it's great. We're all good.
there you go. Don, you actually drew a cover for one of our upcoming projects that we're going to be releasing early in 2026, early next year. Uh, and it's a
That
wonderful,
I did. I
gory,
was very,
badass
very
cover.
excited to do that.
Yeah, you did a great job.
I
I'm so
was
excited
I
about
was
that
very
cover
stoked
and that
to
project.
work with you.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I loved working on it. It was such like a little serendipitous moment because you're like, "Hey, are you available for this thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." It was like right in the pocket where it's like I literally was like waiting on other things. So like I think I got it done like in a ridiculously short amount of time. than I expected.
It was pretty fast.
But
Yeah.
it like came together so fast, and the book, you know, that it's going on. This looks, again, it's like another killer like book. So it's like, you know, in my head, I'm like, wow, you know, Grimcore 2 for 2 with titles right now. Like, so I was very honored and stoked to be asked, and excited to see it come out, because I'm more excited to read the book, that because it was,
Right.
you know, the book was still in production when I did the variant cover on that, or whatever it's going to be. But the so I'm just like, I want to see what happens to the rest of this, because it's another really cool horror thing, but there's like some fantasy aspect to it, and
Yeah.
more killer art, you know, that's just, yeah, I'm just really excited to see that come out, and all that. So, and of course, when that's ready to go, you know, we'll have to have you back on,
Oh, absolutely.
and the other creators involved in that, hopefully, to chat about that book, because again, yeah, it's it yeah, again, my any involvement I had, drawing anything of it aside, I'm still just stoked to read it, because it looks really, really cool. So,
Yeah.
and I'm
I
glad to
mean,
hear that,
yeah.
you know, that it's coming soon. I'm glad to hear that the personal reasons why you started Grimcore are in a much more positive place now, and all these things, and that you took something that, you know, you took a moment before, you're just like, just, for lack of a better, a low moment, and you're like, no, fuck it, I'm gonna build something right now, and you did it, and you're doing it,
Yeah.
and it's really, really
Mhm.
great to see, and I love to see it. And, you
And
know,
let me just say
Thank you.
this, Daniel, you changed my life, bro. Because um, I
Don't
don't
make
think,
me fucking
I don't know if
cry
you've
in
heard this
this
before, but
podcast.
dude, like this graphic novel, this is my first graphic novel, my first comic.
yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, I was on the news recently.
Mhm.
The love and support I've gotten from my family has been amazing, and I've met so many people going to conventions and stuff now these past 3 years. My life has completely changed because of this comic and because of Grimcore, and I'm just super blessed and proud of the work that we did. And I'm just super excited to see what's coming next from Grimcore, because I know it's gonna be exactly like it was for me. If you're gonna change someone else's lives, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna make
Yeah.
someone else a star. You know what I mean? And so I'm excited for that. I just can't wait to see the people that you keep finding and building up. So.
Oh, brother, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
that. You
yeah.
know, if this publisher brings something good to the world, if nothing else, is the opportunity for other
Mhm.
artists to bring work to the world that we need. You know,
Mhm.
art saves. Art saved me.
Mhm.
Art saves the lives of many people in the world, and if I get to be a small part of that and maybe make someone's day, or a little brighter with some badass horror
Mhm.
comic books, then you know what? That's a good thing. My battery is almost dying. Let me get my charger real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not
you
running
know,
away to
Rafael, like
cry
you
off
said, like,
camera.
you
I
know, your
just
life has
really
changed
am.
because you got.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I
We
want to
believe
get
you.
real.
We believe you. No worries. Uh, but yeah, so you said, you know, your life's kind of, you know, changed, because yeah,
Yeah,
you shared a clip. You're on, you know, the, you know, news, talking about the book, which had to be like exciting, and
it was
just like,
mind blowing, dude. I mean, it
yeah.
was. I mean, I grew up watching DFW news. I mean, I'm never
Hmm.
once thinking I would ever be on the news,
Yeah.
unless it was like a murder or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Not because, oh, I did something positive and
Yeah, like,
cool.
but
We're like,
it was
oh
just
no.
it was a crazy moment. I got to actually funny moment. A thing about news is that the weather can kick your story off the news.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If so, it was originally scheduled like for like a Friday, and it ended up being like
Okay.
a Saturday, Sunday,
Oh,
Monday. Like
okay.
they replayed it a bunch of times, like throughout the week. So I got to catch
Well,
it on the
that's
TV. So
that's the plus side, though, of like, at the very least, it being available to be shared on the internet, because it's like,
yes, thank God.
you know, you can just like, oh, here it is, go check it
Right,
out.
because most
You know,
people would have
as
not
a thing.
watched it anyways, and so like even though it didn't air
Yeah,
that day, I was still getting like,
yeah,
"Congrats, you're on the news, man! I saw it. It was
yeah.
great." Like,
I
and I was
mean,
like, "Thank
I
you."
just, yeah, I just remember from like back in, like, I think it was like 90, yeah, it was like 99. I was on the wrestling team at my high school, and we were, um we were actually really good as a team, and like the news like came to like film a practice or something and talk about us, and it's just like I was in like half a second of a shot, like of a pan or something, but it's like one of those things where it's like, oh man, like, oh, if you don't watch it right then and there live, you're not gonna see it. And now it's just like now it's gone forever.
Yeah, for
It's
real.
been taped over by some other
It's a Mike
dog saved squirrel
Wazowski
from
thing
tree
from
or something, I
Monsters
don't know.
Inc. Yeah, I'm in the
Yeah,
movie.
exactly. Exactly.
It's funny because my
So
niece
yeah,
was like right in it, like behind like a Stanley Cup or something,
uh,
and we're like, look, you're in it. We're showing her the YouTube video.
nice. Yeah, it's interesting the relationship like these days that even like kids like have with like the idea of being seen on the internet and stuff like that. Because my son's 6 and he keeps asking me like, how come I'm not? Why can't I be on your podcast? I'm like, kid,
Aw.
like one, I'm not broadcasting you out to the world. You're 6. Like we're
Yeah.
not doing. I'm not comfortable with that. 2, this is what we talk about, and you tell me you don't like these things. So, but we could talk about we could talk about other things I like. I said, well, we can talk about that right now.
Right.
And then like if I'm like if I'm like uploading or something, or I'm on my computer and I'm like trying to do something with the channel or whatever, they're like, oh, can we watch it? I'm like, no, I don't want to watch myself. I don't want to see this. But then they're like, the one or two times, like I'll fine, okay, we'll put it on. They'll be like, where am I? I'm like, you're not in, you're sleeping right now. I'm recording this. You're not in here right now.
And they're like, boring.
So
Let me get out of here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah. So the idea of like the kids like just being seen on the news and all that, it's it's still a different thing though. I'm sure if like the kids were on the news or something like that, they would do that, because even like our schools have like the all these schools have like apps you have to download now to communicate with teachers and stuff like that, and then teachers will post pictures and stuff, and then but even then my kids are like, oh, did they take we saw a teacher taking pictures at the school today, like, yeah, did they send them to you? Like, no, not yet. Like, ooh, where am I? It's like, all right, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, guys, but whatever. Anyway, we've gotten far off topic here. Anyway, but as I was just saying, Rafael, like you mentioned, like it's changed your life doing comics and all that, and it's I can't say I have a great deal number of comics under my belt more than anybody else, but like having done a bit, at least now a couple graphic novels worth of stuff, tons of short stories and things like that. I can assure you that it at least for me, it still doesn't get old. Like just seeing your stuff like this, I made this thing. It looks like a real thing. Like it looks like a real comic.
Yeah.
It's.
I can't wait to see
like,
it on the shelves, dude. Like next to all the other comic books. You know what I mean? Like that's what we want, right?
Yeah.
So
and then
it's gonna stand out. It's gonna be badass.
I'm told the next level after that of feeling like, all right, I think I've made it, is when like you come across your comic and like in some random store's back issue bin.
Yeah.
or
Nice.
like, what was it? Who found it in Half Price Books? Someone found their books in like Half Price Books and they're like, hey, I made it. Someone donated my books to Half Price Books. And they were legitimately like tickled by it, which is like, that's how you got to be. It's just like, because we so someone read it, passed on, but now maybe someone else will read it and they'll become a fan for life. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But how has the general reception been to Return to Camazotz? Like, you have tons of great reviews, some listed up on the Kickstarter page, but like, you've done some cons and stuff like that. What has there been any like a lot of feedback from like fans at the shows or anything like that, from people who have read the book and that have been like, kind of like, why you made the book, like are expressing the same thing, like, oh, I'm so glad someone's doing something like this?
I do get that. I get that at conventions, from the Latino community especially, and I love doing these like Latino conventions that we have here in Texas, like Mex American, and Dallas, Texas Latino Comic Con. Because that's whenever you really get to interact with the customers or the people that come in there, they're your people, man. Like they're La Raza, man. They're Mexican, American, Latinos. And so when they see my book, they see that it's got Mexican characters, that it's about Mayan mythology, something that maybe they know a little bit about, but that they maybe are curious to learn more. I love that. I love seeing their eyes light up. It's really cool, and they often will tell me like, they appreciate that someone's out there doing this kind of stuff. I get that every time I go to a convention, or at least one of those, and I love hearing that. I love being able to answer a person's questions because like they want to do it too. They want to make
Mm-hmm.
comics. I love sitting down with them and like answering all their questions. And the reception for Return of Comics has been amazing. We've gotten so many great reviews. We've been covered on a couple websites, YouTube channels. We've been covered on the news, which is crazy. And it's just been wild, man. Honestly, it's a wild ride. When I wrote it, I obviously I did my best, but I didn't really expect much. You know what I mean? Like, because it was my first comic. Like I didn't never.
Mm-hmm.
You expect your first comic to be just kind of like you make it and you just move on to your next one or whatever. But this one, it's been really powerful, and this the whole series, I've said it. I finished it. We did the 3 issues. We got the graphic novel coming out, and they're just, I don't know, just something special about it being my first comic and it getting all this publicity and like just the reaction, being able to go to these conventions and be a speaker and talk on a panel. It's just really cool, and it's I'm just super proud and happy that it all happened.
Nice. Awesome. And but before we have to wrap up, I have to ask, just because I know you're literally like right in the middle of the Kickstarter. When this airs, it'll be a little bit closer to the end, but and you got so much more work ahead of you with fulfillment and getting all these things tidied up and done and all that. But I also know how creators work, so I have to ask, like, well, what's next? What are you looking at after this is out? Is there more with this story, or is there a shift in what you're going to be doing next, or are you like, what, man, I don't know. I have, because you have obviously put a lot into this book, and there's going to be a lot more after once it's out, because once you have the book, it's like, okay, now I have to get it to as many people as possible,
Yeah,
and all that. And I know that grind and that feeling as well. But again, I also know, like, there's always a pot boiling somewhere in your brain.
yeah.
Something's cooking. So
And
I'm just
it's
curious, like,
all of those, it's all of that, man. Like I'm gonna be juggling a lot this coming year. I'm
mm-hmm,
gonna be doing more conventions because I'll have a graphic novel. I'm gonna be pushing that out
mm-hmm,
there into the world. Trying to do more events where I'm talking about Kamazotz, or teaching people how to make comics or whatever. Because I'm also a librarian, and so kind of got these like
oh, okay,
professional
awesome,
gig going, and so
yeah,
it's starting to become like I'm a scholar almost, and I didn't even go to college. I just went to community college. You know what I mean? Like so,
yeah,
but they're like asking me to come, do author events and stuff like that. So
mm-hmm,
I'm going to be doing that, more this upcoming year with Kamazotz. And that's been really keeping my brain rolling with Kamazotz because I keep hearing people talk about how much they want more Return of Kamazotz. So
yeah,
I've got ideas for follow up, but I'm also going to be doing a lot of work at Grimm Studios and editing books for a lot of the creators coming up. And then also I'm going to be doing my own. We're going to take a little break from Kamazotz because we want to, I want to do some more projects, some with some different artists, but maybe even one with Azrael, just something different from us because I think that would be really cool.
mm-hmm,
But eventually I know that we're going to come back to this universe. I just love it so much. The fans love it so much. The reception's been so good, and I just know that we can keep it going. So I'm just going to be, this will be like a year of exploring for me. I'm going to be trying to just figure out what my next real stuff is going to be, but just trying to have fun and just enjoy writing comic books again.
awesome. Glad to hear it. I didn't know you're a librarian, because doing library shows are actually some of the most fun shows, like the little comic cons. We have a lot of libraries in the area that, like, up here in northwest Chicago, north of Chicago, that they are very big into having little mini cons here and there and all
local
that.
authors, events, and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and I've I had the opportunity a few years ago to actually do a couple like at a library, like a class on how to comic book storytelling and things like that, and those are really fun because you get all these eager kids
Yeah,
coming in and you get to talk to them about comics and tell them you can make them. It's easy. It's like
yeah.
it's hard, but it's
But
not
these are the
hard to
steps.
do it.
Yeah.
But you know it does bring to mind like the first time I did it, like the librarian who organized the con then asked me like, hey, do you want to do like a you know do a comic class or something? I said, I could talk about storytelling, and just talk
Right.
about panel layouts and things like that. So it was like 20 kids in this class. I was like stoked. I had all these slides and stuff. I'm talking and there's like glazed over.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, anybody have any questions? And they just want to know how to make a comic. You're talking about like the 180 rule and
Yeah.
like, you don't stack your panels on the left unless you're doing,
Mhm.
unless, there's a really rare instance we want to do that. And how do you utilize a double page? I'm like,
I would
so I
love all
just like
that, man.
apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry. I think, this is probably, the cart before the horse here. So then like the last half was like really fun because there was like asking like, how do I draw like someone's fist coming at me? Like,
Mhm.
oh, okay,
Right.
here's how you do that.
Yeah.
Just
Nice.
things like that. So, but like, any other creators who may be watching this, like if you have an opportunity to do that
Yeah.
at a library, you can even just like go to your library and say, hey, I'm a comic creator. I would like to like have a little workshop, like I tell you, like it is like it'll fill your tank. Like if you're feeling just like burnt out or tired or kind of disillusioned, like just seeing kids excited about making comics, because kids we're wizards to kids.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
they don't know, like, no, you can do this too. It's really easy. Like, yeah, maybe I'm an adult and I do it at a different level than you do, but like you'll
Yeah.
get there. If not, you'll be better. Like, so I hope you get the chance to do stuff like that, because I think your demeanor and your like personality with it, like I think would work really well with this, like encouraging and like giving
Yeah.
kids like
We actually
excited about
do.
doing
I
that
do
kind of
have.
stuff.
So I do have like a art program. It's called like Artist Afternoons. Or no, it's called
Okay.
Next Gen Artists because I updated it for
Okay.
teens. Um, and I go into different art subjects like drawing, painting, and I try to teach them little skills. Here and
Mhm.
there. There's already a kid who's got his own comic book called Pencil Man, and it's a really dope like looking comic book.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap, this kid like draws like Andy Kubrick already. Like
Oh wow.
like he's got that. I think he said he was really drawn to like Ryan Otley,
Okay.
Invincible, and I'm
Oh
just like,
yeah.
dude, this kid is going places. It's really cool because then I can be like, look, this is like I made a comic book too. You can't check it out, but this is what
Yeah.
it looks like.
Yeah, it's the eternal struggle for me as a parent too. My son literally asked me like, how come you don't make comics I can read? And I'm like, it's a good question, buddy. One, because daddy doesn't make any money doing the comics you can read, but I should fix that. So I'm trying to do some shorts and stuff that I think
Right.
would be appropriate for him to be able to read. Because not that I do anything that bad, but like, vampire decapitations are not exactly 6-year-old material.
Yeah. I think horror
Maybe,
children's books are popular these days.
yeah,
They are a thing.
The
Yeah.
Last Kids on Earth, stuff like that.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine, he just took over the art duties on those graphic novels. Uh, and I've been trying to get my kids like, oh, daddy's friend drew that. You want to get this one? Like, nah. Where's Dog Man? Like,
Yep. Dog man.
actually, I have to wake up tomorrow. It's an off day for my kids' school, but the new Dog Man book comes out tomorrow, and I have to go take them to go to a store and get it
Wow.
There
because
you go.
they've been dying for it. But I like Dogman too. It's a funny book.
Yeah.
It's a good it's and it's comics. You
He's king of
can't argue
comics, man.
comics.
He's the king.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Rafael, Grimm, thank you guys so much for coming back on. I'm really excited to read the rest of the story because I just had the first issue to check out. I haven't been able to catch up on the rest, but I'm really stoked to see the entirety of the graphic novel and check it out, because I'm sure I'm just going to absolutely adore it. I'm excited to see what you all do next. But first and foremost, everyone who's watching this, please go, link in the show notes, go back, return to Camazotz. You're not going to regret it. I don't have a seal of approval, but it's got my seal of approval. Not that anybody needs that. But I guarantee you, you're going to dig this book. It's, gorgeous to look at, fantastic read. It's no brainer. It's a no brainer. Go and check it out. Rafael, Grimm, now's the time I really would let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
So I'm Rafael Flores Jr. You can find me on social media at Kamazotz Comics. And then, I'm on everything. Kamazotz Comics, or just Rafael Flores Jr.
Right, and
Grimm?
I am Grimm, and you can find our company, Grimmcore Studios, at Grimmcore Studios on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. We're Grimmcore Horror on the X place that shall not be named. We're everywhere as Grimmcore Studios. So come hang out. We got a lot of cool shit coming out, a lot of cool
MySpace,
comics.
Friendster, all the places.
Oh my goodness, if we had MySpace, that would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're everywhere. Come
I
hang
know,
out.
right?
We
I
would
need a
love to
return.
have you. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll make sure there's links to all that stuff in the show notes below. Everyone, please go check them out. Two fantastic dudes, creators, great books coming, great books out now. Can't wait to see what's next. And once again, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.